It's not eggs, it's not flour. So the one ingredient they were gonna use to make bread is, as you can see here, we've got 10 different ingredients to make the 10 ingredient bread. So we're gonna start with that. Let me just tell you that the one ingredient is worth the wait. But I've also got a good feeling about this one. Like, I think 10 ingredient for bread, it's a lot, but it's not unrealistic. Like, some of you guys might actually try this recipe, which will be in the description as usual. I watch a lot of food videos on YouTube. I get it. I want to make your life easy and not stressful. Okay, this is kind of like a traditional, like, standard bread recipe. So it starts with yeast. So this is active dry yeast. I don't know what that means. I think it probably means that when you add sugar and water, it like activates. That and raw chicken is like top 5 on my cooking fears. I think this is it's either salt or sugar. Both of them go at the same time. See, I would think that salt kills the... Is it bacteria? What is it? I don't know. If you're a microbiologist watching this is your time to shine. I have no idea what that is. Every time I watch like a serious cooking person, they always stress how it's so important that for this next step, it has to be warm water, but like you don't want it to be too hot. I think it probably kills it or something. So what we're gonna do is just give this a quick whisk. Before people ask, because I already know everyone's gonna be stressed about this, yes, we do have to wait for the dough to rest a little bit. For this comparison of one ingredient versus 10, we have to make a traditional kind of bread. And also, I like listen to you guys, and I think you want some more traditional recipes for this series, and I'm gonna bring it. The next step is 3 cups of plain flour. So this is really good because most bread recipes use like bread flours, which are sold out everywhere. So I think what we want to do is add 1 cup at a time. So if this is 3 cups, let's add like 1/3 of this. I don't know. We're gonna have to transfer this to the electric mixer because when you make bread, like a huge part of the success is the kneading of the dough. When you've got one of these overpriced machines, like you want to take advantage of your assistant. So it doesn't smell very yeasty yet, but I guess it's because it's not activated yet. This should become like increasingly difficult. So I'm just gonna add this and this should be fine. I think we added everything. I think we did. This is the reason why I never used it. It's because it's so heavy, and I'm not exaggerating. Like, I have a love-hate relationship with this machine. The reason why I wasn't too stressed mixing this is because this is all going to mix in here, I think. So I think this is enough to make kind of like a baguette. Look at us using French words. Goes to Panera Bread once. If you're gonna try this and you don't have one of these, I guess you just have to use your hands. That's happening really quickly. This usually takes like 5 minutes. Isn't that kind of what we're looking for? I think that's exactly what we're looking for. Like, okay, so should have thought about this before, but we need to brush the original bowl with some olive oil. Oh, this is gonna take too long, and I only have one hand. That's fine. I think this is to stop it from going crusty. So this is like coated. I mean, we might have overly done it, but I don't really care. So we're gonna put the dough in here. I think we're supposed to turn it around like once, so the top is covered in a little bit of olive oil. Not today, yeast infection. And that's basically it for the actual dough of the bread. So now we have to cover this, and this is the part that everyone hates, which is waiting. So we have to wait from 1 to 2 hours for this to rise. In the recipe said to cover this with a wet towel. I'm just gonna use this, it'll be fine. I feel like if this doubles in size, it will just fill up the whole thing. So we're gonna keep this somewhere warm, and next time I check with you guys, hopefully this is gonna be double the size and we can carry on with the presentation and the baking part. Holy guacamole. Out of all the things I expected, I did not expect that. Like tripled in size, and I have a feeling that this would have been even bigger. I literally got goosebumps. That was the single most satisfying thing I've ever done in my whole life. We did that, and honestly, it really wasn't that difficult. I feel like some people might actually try this 10 ingredient recipe, so I don't want to get a yeast infection, but honestly, if it's ever been worth it, nobody. God filling in my personality. I'm gonna use this plastic thing. It's not great, but I bought it and now I have to use it, so. We might have definitely used a little too much olive oil, but an already buttered bread. So I think according to the recipe, this is supposed to make only one baguette, but this is huge. I don't even have to try. This is looking incredible. Like, I have no words. This looks like straight from the supermarket, and you saw how easy that was. Like, we've literally used one bowl. Like, I'm not even gonna pretend like I know why we do these next steps, but that's just with recipe size and I'm gonna do it. So ideally for this next step, we'd be using, it's kind of like a cookie, I don't know what you call it, but basically you bake things in it, like cookies, bread, like it's a specific thing. It's on Amazon, I don't have it. I'm gonna use a regular tray, and then we're supposed to use cornmeal, which is very difficult to find in England, so I'm just gonna use some regular flour. I'm pretty sure this is a thing that works as well. Well, we'll find out together. I feel like we kind of have to decide on the shape of our bread. I'm gonna make it kind of like a thick loaf, kind of like that. I don't want it to be too long, because imagine if this is gonna grow. I feel like we've put so much work into this, I really don't want to ruin it, so I'm gonna put that on the flour. Ideally, we'd be using cornmeal, but it's not an ideal world. I've always wanted to do this next step because it makes me feel like a baker. So we're supposed to do those little cuts. You know when you see bread in like a cartoon, it always has these little cuts on top. So I think I've seen people do it with scissors. I think you can do it with a knife as well. So let's do 3 of those. Oh my god. I cannot believe I just done that. The character development that this is. For the toppings, I'm gonna use some salt. So this is like coarse salt, just because I feel like it didn't have enough salt in the dough. Ideally, I would be using, there's this seasoning in America. It's called everything but the bagel seasoning. I think it's sold on Trader Joe's, which is like a supermarket. It's literally top 5 of my favorite foods. Like, it's so good, but obviously I don't have it in England, so this is like a poor man's everything but the bagel seasoning. Poppy seeds always taste great in bread. And this one is some sesame seeds. You know, just a classic. Oh my god, this is gonna be so good. It looks literally beautiful. Like, I really hope this, sometimes things don't translate on camera very well. I have a feeling this might be one of those moments. I don't know, this is gonna take its own shape, so there's nothing I can do. This is as good of a close-up as I'm gonna be able to get. But apart from the waiting, it honestly wasn't that difficult. All of this will be written in the description, so you don't even have to worry. But basically, this is going to cook, like it's going to go into a cold oven, so it's going to warm up as the bread is in there. So I think the only source of heat is this. You're supposed to put around 1 inch of hot water. I should have done this inside the oven. I am honestly so stupid. Even Salem knows. I don't understand the reason why, but this is gonna go in the bottom of the oven, and this is gonna go like in the middle, the regular shelf where you'd bake bread. So if this fails, the disappointment is like, I'm honestly gonna quit. Right here, we've got the one ingredient needed to make bread, and it's not eggs, it's not flour, it's not butter, any kind of fat. It's nothing that you normally traditionally use to make bread. But I honestly think that if you pause the video, I don't think anyone's gonna get it. Maybe like one person. Like, that's like my guess. Like, if anyone gets it, it'll be just one person. So the one ingredient they were gonna use to make bread is flaxseed. Suddenly I hate bread. I'm not gonna judge it because the photos of the breads made with this single ingredient are like incredible. All you need is flaxseed, and this is flaxseed meal, which is basically ground or like blended flaxseed, and all you do is put this in a bowl. We're gonna mix in some water from the tap, and you can bake this. So we're gonna do it the one ingredient traditional way, but in the recipe that I'm gonna put in the description, it's got like a few other ingredients like baking soda or baking powder, some salt for flavoring, and I think that's about it, but you don't need that. Those are all optional. It's supposed to work with an actual one ingredient. If you're confused about what flaxseed is, this is what it is. Like, let me read it to you. I'm really not gonna sell this. Milled organic flaxseed, delicious and nutritious. Our nutritionally dense flaxseed tastes great with porridge, cereal, yogurt, or try sprinkling on fruit or salad. First of all, I don't eat any of these things. It doesn't mention bread. I honestly feel like this is one of those things that is straight up like 100% fiber, which means it's going to be straight up 100% one-way ticket to the toilet. Cannot wait for that. This is not a lot because the recipe doesn't need a lot of flaxseed, but I've also miscalculated, so I didn't buy enough flaxseed, but this is how much we're gonna go with. Definitely gonna be smaller than our, at least I think it's gonna be smaller than our giant baguette. It kind of feels like we're activating this as well or something, I don't know. And then we mix. This is really weird. It's supposed to become like one big clump. It's doing it. Salt would be great and some seasoning in here, but it's supposed to actually taste good. Like all the reviews for these recipes of one ingredient were incredible, so I'm not gonna lie, I am kind of fascinated that this is kind of become a dough. Like it almost seems like it's got egg in it. That literally smells like bread. I think for the final test, when we do our blindfold test, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna put butter on top because that's how you eat bread, but also because that's gonna make it easier for me to not tell which one is which. You can almost scoop this like ice cream. It's really weird. Please allow me to introduce to you what I think is one of my greatest DIYs yet. Because I didn't have enough ingredients, I can't make a whole loaf. So this is supposed to be a smaller loaf. I'm honestly, people can call me a lot of things, but I do try. I think the recipe says for this to rest for like 5 minutes, but it's probably been close to that. So I'm just gonna, that's gonna be bread. I don't know how. Should we clump it together or something? Or is that gonna be it? It's like wet crushed Oreos. That's literally what it feels like. I said I was gonna quit if the other one doesn't work. If this one works, I will quit as well. So let me try to show you what it looks like. I think on the recipe it actually said that you should smooth it out, so maybe this is expected, you know? I feel like we've done an okay job in making this smooth. This looks like rye bread or something. According to the recipe, the water, when you cook it, is supposed to steam the whole mixture, the flaxseed, and it's going to create like a bread texture that's going to be crusty and soft, just like real bread. I'm going to bake it for, I think, 45 minutes, maybe 40 minutes. And next time I see you guys, we're going to compare both results and do a blind test. Both of the breads have been baking for around 40 minutes and it's starting to smell a little bit toasty. I think the recipe says to leave it to 45 minutes, but it does smell a little bit toasty. So let's start with the 10 ingredient one. I think this is the toasty one. I don't know if this is like a good result. It smells so, holy guacamole, smells incredible. We did that. Like, it actually looks pretty good, right? Like, it's crunchy. This is like 5 minutes away from being toast. This is me attempting to give you guys the best close-up that I can. Like, it seems like it could be raw on the inside. I'm not gonna lie. So here's the worst part. We're gonna check on the one ingredient bread. Oh, it's black. I don't know if it's supposed to be black. Is it supposed to be black? Oh my god, it's so dark. The positives are that it looks better than it did before. My weird contraption worked. They said to not remove it until it cools down a little bit, but I don't even know. Should I remove it from here? I don't even know. Slicing into either of them is gonna be as interesting as tasting them because I think that's gonna be raw and I think this is gonna be a giant cookie. Oh my god, it's still so warm, but look, it literally, I mean, I wish you guys could smell it. It didn't stick, but I mean, we do have a bit of extra flour. Oh, it is crusty, but that's a good thing, right? Oh my god, please don't be raw, please don't be raw. Okay, it's so hot on the inside. I'm not ready for this. This is my first time making bread. I mean, it smells incredible. It looks a little dense. I can't tell if it's slightly under or if it's right. I feel like tasting it will be the final test, but it was getting really crunchy on the outside. When you ask your mom to go to the McDonald's drive-thru and she says you've got food at home, This is the food at home. Looks wise, it can compete, but it could taste good, so I'm gonna try to slice it. It falls apart a little bit, but they did say not to slice it while it was hot, and that is exactly what I'm doing. Do you know the evil Santa Claus? Krampus? Well, that's one visit from Krampus right there. It could taste good, but visually it's like... You guys know how it works. I've got my little flags, 10 ingredients, 1 ingredient. Oh, this is not easy. Oh my god. They're both kind of crusty on the outside. It could be that I can't guess because I've been saving this fancy butter for not that long. I've actually saved this butter for like a special bread, and this is like the moment. This is fitting. This butter came all the way from France. So I'm gonna get this same exact amount of butter. I would say this is like a good amount, right? A little bit of butter on this one and a little butter on this one. The 10 ingredient, the 1 ingredient, and I'm hoping that the butter will melt a little bit. Like, do your thing. We're going to spin this and taste and choose a winner. I don't even know why I do this. No one wants me to do this blind test. I literally do it because it makes this purposeful for me. So I'm gonna start with this one, right? So I honestly can't tell from grabbing it which one it is, but I'm sure you guys can see it. Alright. Wow, that's crunchy. Wow. Oh my god. I'm pretty sure this is the 10 ingredient. This is incredible. Wow. I'm pretty sure this is the 10 ingredient. It's really, really good. So I'm gonna put the flag down. Actually, I'm not so sure anymore. That's so weird. I literally want to open my eyes because that tastes like bread. I'm like 99% sure this is the 1 ingredient one. However, it tastes like bread. I would love to sit here and tell you that this is gross, but it really, really isn't. Like right at the end, you get a bit of a weird texture. It's a little like grainy, and that's the only thing. But the flavor, when it comes to the actual flavor of this, it tastes better than whole grain bread. I don't like whole grain bread. At the same time, I couldn't look at this, like perfect bread, and tell you that this isn't the winner. Like, I love a bread that is super crusty on the outside, and then like fluffy, almost like moist on the inside. And that is literally what this is. This is like my dream ideal bread. So while I have to be honest and say that the 10 ingredient bread is the official winner, I'm gonna say that this one is really, really good. Like if this is a 10 out of 10, I would say this is like a 7 out of 10. So that was interesting. I just want to say before I go, guys, thank you so much for always supporting my videos and supporting this series. You guys have just been so nice about like new concepts, and just given the circumstances in the world, this is like something that has been appropriate for right now, and thank you for letting me just do whatever I want with my content. If you haven't subscribed to my YouTube channel yet, there's a subscribe button down below. Give the video a like for episode 4. I think I might do something different in the next video, but maybe next week we'll do one of these again. I love you guys, and I will see you on my next video.